Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to this week's Middle East update, the week of March 27th. I've been holding off as long as I can in order to get as much information because we do have breaking news from Israel. And that's that it looks as if we now have a unity government in place. Blue and white Chairman Benny Gantz is set to partner with Likud, with Netanyahu's unity, and form a unity government. He'll serve initially as foreign minister, but then taking over for Netanyahu as prime minister in September of 2021. Again, this sort of brings or heightens the political drama in Israel. By Gantz coming over, it looks as if blue and white is sort of going different directions with Lapid as well as Yalan, kind of basically making the statement that Gantz chose Netanyahu over blue and white. And so anyhow, mixed reactions for those in Israel. They need this unity government. And so I applaud Gantz for his decision in all of this. Well, again, just a reminder that our Middle East update comes with a PDF PowerPoint, and you can access that on the YouTube page by just clicking the link, or go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com. All right. So a lot of things that were in this because this news just broke. So there are going to be a couple articles in here that I'll kind of skip over. But again, I think it's worth your reading because I believe that it gives you a glimpse into Israel, especially in these days. So for News Bites, for example, Netanyahu had offered in these negotiations going back and forth to step down in 2021 to advance the unity deal, and it appears that's exactly what happened. This whole thing with the joint Arab list, there's an article here that it's crazy. Israeli government, again, because of this new coalition. I'll just let you read that. I won't comment on that because obviously that was just for a reaction, at least in my opinion. Some other things for our news bites. According to reports, the Muslim Brotherhood and ISIS, through a number of fatwas, have called on Muslims to produce, quote, human biological weapons to attack the enemies of Islam. And later, I think a couple of the slides here are going to talk about Hezbollah as well as Hamas and Fatah and using human beings as bioterrorism. So we'll get to that in a moment. Netanyahu's quote on the coronavirus is, keep in mind, Passover's around the corner. He said, we got past Pharaoh, we'll get past Corona. And then late this morning, right when you think things might be settling down when it comes to the northern border, well, all the borders of Israel, the IDF says it shot down a drone that was flown by Hezbollah, the terrorist group in Lebanon, into Israeli airspace this morning. Well, I mentioned the crazy article about the joint Arab list and what they were being offered to come along with blue and white. I'll leave that to you as I mentioned. Let's jump into our main articles for this week. Iran, the supreme leader of Iran, is refusing U.S. assistance to fight the new coronavirus. Again, this is starting to surface. He's citing an unfounded conspiracy theory that the virus could be man-made by America. And again, there's no scientific proof anywhere that would support these comments, but just like we've commented on the past, whenever any plagues come upon the world, two names pop up as to who to blame. We know the rise of anti-Semitism, so it doesn't surprise us that it's blame the Jews. But now, again, with both China and Iran, we're hearing blame the Americans. Hezbollah, in terms of the coronavirus, one of their leading generals, Hussein Assadali, of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, has died of the coronavirus, reports Debka. According to the report, he was the one in charge of supplying missiles to the Hezbollah in Syria, and he was also in charge of upgrading their arsenal to what's referred to as dumb rockets to high precision rockets. Again, just a lot of negative chatter as far as blaming the states for all of this that's coming down upon, it seems, major leaders in Iran as well as Hezbollah and Hamas are being stricken with this coronavirus. In light of all that, Hamas is relaying messages to Egypt and Qatar, threatening that if money's not given to them, that they'll put half of the Israelis into shelters and increase the number of corona patients if money's not given to them. And this leads into that article that's just entitled Bioterrorism. The Palestinian health officials have expressed concern that amid a serious outbreak in the Gaza Strip, thousands of Palestinians may try to force their way into Israel or Egypt. Again, in the shadow of this pandemic, Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas, and other groups in the Gaza are in agreement that controlling the spread of the virus is the highest priority. However, the current lull in violence, just keep in mind, it's just temporary. Some are looking to harness the threat of this virus to use against one another. So don't be fooled by this sense of calm that's going on. There's no calm whatsoever. The hatred has not subsided. This is a legacy of hate. And throughout all of this, Israel must heed the lessons that can be learned from this pandemic in order to prepare for future bioterrorism. Again, when I mentioned, the rules aren't for everybody, right? We see that Fatah has this massive celebration, and what was probably the largest gathering this week anywhere in the world. It took place outside of Jenin. Because there's been this social distancing, no large groups or whatever, self-isolation's been the key to containing and defeating the coronavirus. With that in mind, Muhammad Abbas Fatah movement has organized this celebration with thousands of Palestinians crammed together to do what? To honor a terrorist that was released from prison. This terrorist, I won't even mention his name, has spent 16, 17 years in prison, was guilty of the murdering or being involved in the murdering of 6 Israelis. And because he was being released at night, you can see the pictures here, thousands of people came out to celebrate. And then, as we mentioned, this one Hezbollah general who died of the virus, he was kind of connected to what's called Iran's new guidance system rocket kits. And I'm sure this is going to raise tensions with Israel. Iran's developed a kit that appears to be able to convert unguided surface-to-surface rockets into guided weapons. Again, this dumb rocket to smart rocket. We know that Hezbollah in Lebanon has an arsenal over 150,000 rockets that are generally aimed at Israel, but because they're so-called dumb rockets, these kits would give them so much more precision. In fact, Israel's concerned that they would be even able to avoid interception by the Iron Dome. Well, let's talk about some good news. Some pictures that you have to see, especially if you've been to Israel, is the Sea of Galilee. While the rest of the world's been focusing on this battle of the virus, the pandemic, the Sea of Galilee has reached the highest level in years due to the heavy rains and the melting snow. It's only 19 inches short from what's called the upper red line, the point at which the dam down on the southern portion would have to be opened to prevent flooding. Oh, I can't wait to see the pictures of that dam being opened and the Galilee providing water going down into the mighty Jordan River, right? Amazing. Well, some closing thoughts. I just want to read to you as we conclude this update, something from a friend from Israel concerning where we're at in the world today. He said, the situation in which the world finds itself reminds me of the story of Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was rocked by the flood for 40 days before it anchored. And we may well be in our situation for even longer than that with this coronavirus. It's a story of crisis and how to deal with it. One day, hopefully sooner rather than later, like Noah, this flood will end. We will emerge from our arks to face the new world, the world that was gone through this crisis. It's going to be a different world as to what we faced before it hit us. The question will be, as we emerge and we look at the amazing rainbow that will be above us, it will be the opportunity to have hope for the future, but we'll have to decide how to renew our life work, how to renew our businesses, our personal connections. We'll have to decide where to look and what to see. Hopefully, we will look to the heavens and the colors of the rainbow, and we'll draw even closer to God and his purposes for our lives than ever before. So with that, shalom, and God bless you all.